Hi guys, I hope you're having a good day. So this 56-year-old guy named Mahendra Patel, who lives in Ackworth, Georgia, he goes to his local Walmart because his mom, who I'm assuming was probably in her 80s or 90s, needed some Tylenol. So he goes down there and he meets up with a lady who's in one of those mechanized wheelchairs that the store provides. And she's got her child right there on the chair with her. And he proceeds to ask her, hey, do you know where I can find the Tylenol? So she points to where he can get the Tylenol, and then all of a sudden her son starts slipping off of the chair, and Mr. Patel actually grabs the boy, partially grabs him to just hold him in place so he doesn't fall and hurt himself. Anyway, shortly after that, she points again to where the Tylenol is, and Mahendra Patel leaves her, goes and gets the Tylenol, comes back to her, shows her the Tylenol as if to say, thank you, heads out the door, and he's on his way back home to his mother, right? Sounds like your typical errand that you run at Walmart. Well, check this out. The lady's name was Caroline Miller, also of Ackworth, Georgia. What she decided to do was, after this nice man got Tylenol for his mom, she actually went to the Walmart security team and called the police to have them actually arrest Mr. Patel because she claimed that he was actually in a tug of war with her for her little boy, like he was trying to abduct her. Now here's where it actually gets crazy, although I think it's already crazy enough. She obviously had a decent or a good interaction with this guy, but she made up this idea in her head and actually put some action behind it. Yesterday we were talking about people not putting actions behind their plans. This lady had the goofiest plan in the world and put some action towards it. So that first video, you're kind of left thinking, did he maybe wrestle with her, But then as you look at the clues, you start to quickly realize, holy crap, this lady just completely lied. A second video showed different angles that were closer up, and there was absolutely no doubt this woman completely lied. Here's where it gets crazy. The cops ended up reviewing the video footage that clearly shows he didn't do anything wrong, and they went ahead and ended up arresting Mr. Patel. Can you believe that? I mean, isn't it a sham and a shame when you look at the video footage and you still do the absolute wrong thing? This actually reminds me of, we all watch football. Lately, they've been having some football replays, and when I say lately, I mean this past year, where you swear, even with instant replay, that the call is going to be called one way or another, and it still ends up being called the wrong way. Case in point, when my ASU Sun Devils lost to the Texas Longhorns, there was an obvious personal foul where one of our wide receivers got hit right in his face, and he wasn't able to protect himself. And it goes to instant replay, and even the referee that was in the commentary booth said this is going to be a personal foul. It's going to be ASU's ball on the 35. If ASU ends up going down and scoring on that play, it's game over. And we're talking about ASU going to the next round. Instead, we got cheated just like Mr. Patel. There's a couple little tidbits to this story that drive me absolutely crazy. Number one, the real criminal in this story is the lady, Caroline Miller. Number two, she wasn't even handicapped or disabled or even hurt to validate her using the mechanized chair. Keep in mind, those mechanized chairs are for people that legitimately need them, and thus Walmart provides them for people. So she was basically on this mechanized vehicle because, in her words, her kids wanted to ride on it. So here's a woman that's literally, she doesn't care about disabled people. She's taking their mechanized wheelchairs. She doesn't care about decency because while she's helping an innocent man that's trying to help his mother, she ends up ultimately sending him to prison. And so 3 days later, he gets arrested. How do you arrest a guy when the video shows he's innocent? Absolutely blows you away. And it makes Ackworth, Georgia, Walmart, this lady, and the sheriff's department or police department there, makes them all look horrible. By the way, I saw this video yesterday, and I should have watched it, because if I would have watched it, I would have been talking about this yesterday instead of that god-awful video I put out yesterday. Oh my God, that was a stinker. At Mikey92362 says, why isn't there a registry for false accusers? Mikey, here's the crazy thing. They say stereotyping people is horribly wrong. And I think on a good day, we would all agree with that, right? On a bad day, we might disagree with that statement. But here's the thing. I'm starting to think that women, stereotypically speaking, are liars. When I was younger, I held women up to this super high, almost like the Mother Mary of God level, right? Saw all women as future grandmas and moms and just really decent human beings, much better than men. Now, as I get older, God, I can't help but think most of them lie, most of them are scandalous, and darn near all of them seem to revel in it. It's crazy. There's absolutely no shame. So I agree with you, Mikey. How about we create a registry for known liars? That way, if they ever try to do this again, they can be scrutinized and even punished. And I think there should be punishment for this. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are down below. They were interviewing the lady, they being a newscast. And she was literally sounding like a victim, saying, hey, I was literally in a tug of war for my little baby with this guy, or with my little boy with this man, right? And she's literally making him sound like this horrible tyrant of a human being. And she was even going on saying, you know, you don't think you're ever going to see this, but you always know in the back of your head that things like this happen. And it's like, lady, you never think you're going to see a woman lie and send somebody to jail and then talk about it the way you are. It was nuts. I think that this lady deserves serious jail time. Like, give her like 5 years for this stuff. Courtney Lee 643 says she's pathological, using a wheelchair you don't need, which again, that should have let Walmart and the police know right off the bat. This lady's shady. What the hell is she even doing in this wheelchair? And then falsely accusing a man of kidnapping. She's a dangerous person. Courtney, that's why I'm telling you, I don't know if we can trust women anymore. We've had all these situations over the past 10 years where everyone has screamed at the top of the lungs, we're going to trust women. We're going to trust them. And we've gotten to the point where we've lost out on innocent until proven guilty. Is it just me, or do we actually believe the words of females over what we've been saying since we were little? That in this country, you are innocent until proven guilty. And the only person that I saw that was proven guilty was this lady. By the way, in case you are a woman, I still know that most of you are decent. I just think that there's a lot of women that are willing to lie to get up financially, to get revenge, to send somebody to jail even though they're innocent. And I think those are evil characteristics that we should actually, hopefully one day, we'll get a judge that sets an example and sends somebody into prison for a long time. And we need to do that consistently until we root these people out of society. I'm not going to say women, because we don't want to get women out of society, but we need to get these people that are dangerous. When you lie and somebody gets sent to jail or prison for it, you are deadly as far as I'm concerned. You know, they say that there's power in the tongue. People can do a lot of damage by the words that come out of their mouth. And I don't know about you. Let me know down below in the comments, guys. How much punishment does this lady deserve? I honestly think she deserves a good 5 or 10 years in jail for this. P to Rob. B says, update. The man was finally granted bond today. This comment here is going to upset you. The man was finally granted bond today. It was $10,000. So the man spent, get this is going to make you upset, everybody. The man spent 45 days in jail for doing absolutely nothing. Keep in mind, he had like an 80 or 90-year-old mom at home. So what does she do during that 45 days, I'd like to know. He spent 45 days in jail and had to fork over $10,000 for doing nothing but trying to help an idiot parent with her kids. Keep in mind, she helped him find a bottle of Tylenol for his mom, and he helped her child by balancing him so he didn't fall onto the hard floor of the Walmart store. Remember the other day I was telling you guys, no good deed goes unpunished? As cruel as this sounds, I bet you if that guy is ever in a similar situation, because he doesn't want this stuff to ever happen to him again, if he's in that same situation, he's going to let the little boy or the little girl fall to their peril. Isn't that sad? Isn't that a shame? That's probably why when a man is beating up a woman in public, back in the day, men would come to her aid, and now you hear a lot of stories that men just kind of watch, as somebody's getting beat up in public. It's because we get to the point where it's like, okay, if you step in and do something, you're liable to go to jail. You're liable to get in trouble for it. If you ever see a man and woman arguing, don't get in the middle of it, because what'll happen is, even if you're in the right and you're protecting her, she's liable to tell the cops that you're the bad guy and send you to jail in order to protect her man. Some people just love fighting. Now, it's really difficult, because I don't want to be the guy that says, hey, if you see something evil happening, just turn the other way and walk away. But that's the way the world is pushing us. Would you honestly want to help anybody if you knew there was a chance you'd be going to jail for the rest of your life, let alone 45 days? She's accusing the man of kidnapping, and the man ended up spending 45 days in jail. I don't know what's worse. Sir Yeetus says false allegations need harsh punishment or this will continue. Sir Yeetus, this is why I was saying it would be nice if these judges that always let us down, it would be nice if they really stood up and said, you know what? We're going to let everybody see what you did, and then here's your 10 years in prison. You're going to go in there, and there is no good time where you'll be out in 4 or 5 years. No, stick her butt in there for 10 years and make her pay a hefty ass fine to this man. And it was so funny at the end of the video. She goes, I want to tell my son that there's a real lesson to be learned here. Yeah, the real lesson is his mom is a piece of garbage, and she's going to go to jail for 10 years. It's funny, sometimes when you hear me, you might actually think I dislike women. Love women like there's no tomorrow. Absolutely adore women, but I'm adoring women based on the ideology that I had when I was little, that all women were like princesses and they're all perfect. And as you get older, you'd have to be a fool to believe that. And women, I want you to know one thing. Not only do I think a lot of you don't necessarily tell the truth, but I also in my heart know that there's a lot of men out there that aren't worth a damn. That's why it's like difficult to be one of my friends in real life. It's not that I'm not open to it, but I see how people do these things that are just things I find to be disgusting. If you found out your friend was this lady, I don't know about you, it would really be hard for me to want to be this person's friend anymore. Hey Jesse, why do you say that? She didn't do anything to you. No, but she's obviously capable of it. If a woman will do this to a kind-hearted stranger, she'll do this to her husband, she'll do this to her father, she'll do this to her own kids. Evil has an ability to amaze us with what it's capable of doing. And in our country, in the US of A, we probably have more evil human beings, God, probably than all the other countries combined. It's really disturbing. The Famous Davis. Famous Davis, I like that name. I almost went with Not So Famous Jesse James for my channel, and I just thought, no, that's too many syllables. The famous Davis says, update with the video that's released. The charges were dropped. The man is now suing GPD, which I assume is the Georgia Police Department, Walmart, and the liar pants on fire for damages. Guys, I don't think this should be civil. I mean, it should be partially civil, right? Make her give this guy $75,000 or whatever the money is. Make Walmart give him $1 million. Make the police department give him $10 million, you know, whatever. Have him walk away with $15 million, however you want to do it. But she needs to get some jail time. Can I get an amen? The reason this country has so many of us that feel like there's no justice isn't because there's not people in jail. There's obviously people that go to jail every single day. The reason people feel like there's no justice is because there's too many evil people like this lady that get slapped on the wrist and don't get any justice levied on them. Let's send her ass away for 10 years, and then when she gets out in 10 years, let's publicly shame her again. All right, maybe that's too much. In closing, my one question I have for the Georgia Police Department: how do you tell people that you're fair and you try to treat everybody the same? How do you say that? And then looking at the video, you're so wrong for ever bothering that man. The first thing they should have done when they looked at that video is they should have filed a report against the woman for a false claim. And it should be an automatic penalty of like $5,000. I bet you that shit would get rid of these problems altogether. The problem is we wait until it becomes grossly exaggerated in this world where we're constantly doing this stuff. Let's nip it in the bud with this lady. Damn it, I want her walking the jail grounds, the grounds of the prison. Am I angry about this? Not really. You know why? Because on any given day, there's literally dozens of bad things being done to good people all around the world. What we need is for the good people to stand up together and say, throw this woman in prison. We don't want her amongst us. Because the truth is, how many times has she pulled this off in the past? Has she ever sent somebody to jail before? I would like to know that. I bet you there's some ex-boyfriend that's probably been terrorized by this woman, and we're probably going to hear about it in the near future. Speaking of the near future, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you come back again tomorrow. We'll walk again together. Have a good night.